So I just installed the HiFi Rose RA180, and you know, it has a look about it that's polarizing. You're either going to love the looks of this or you're going to not love the looks of this. It's got all kinds of buttons and dials and switches, kind of Nagra-esque with these 2 meters here and the way it's set up, but it's also kind of steampunked, right? I think it looks very unique. I like the way it looks, but I wouldn't have if the build was cheap or the knobs felt cheap. These knobs are super solid. Everything's metal, or feels like metal, and it has a really interesting phono preamp built in, a crossover, equalizer, or I should say bass and treble, balance control. You have several inputs. I'm running it balanced. This thing is feature packed. It has some pretty cool looking feet on the bottom. It's hefty, and it sounds really good. Now it doesn't sound, this is my first impression. This is not the review. I'll have a review soon or eventually. It doesn't sound like the Past Labs Class A amps. It doesn't sound like the Enlium Class AB. This is they're calling it AD. So it's Class D, but HiFi Rose did some stuff to make the Class D sound better than typical Class D amps. Did they succeed? My first impressions say possibly. It sounds better than any Class D amp I've heard, though it is a different signature than Class A or Class AB. This is dynamic. It has immense power to it, to the sound. It's actually very transparent, airy. The mids are a little more recessed and a little, they're not meaty like the Class A Past Labs amp, for example. The mids are a little thinner, but overall, so far I'm very impressed with it. But I'm going to spend some time with it and see what I think of it after that, right? So I'm going to also compare it to a named Supernate 3. And when I do review this, I will compare it to the sound of Class A, the Class AB, and talk about what I think of that. But what do you guys think of the looks? I will say it's built very well, just like the Streamer, the 150 that I reviewed not that long ago. This would be a perfect mate to that. So yeah, look for my review a little bit down the road. This was the HiFi Rose RA180 integrated amplifier. It also has some very unique amplification features I'll talk about in the review.